Hello, welcome back to our live hackathon. I'm again Harvey from blueshiftcoding.com, and today I'm going to be going through your fantastic submissions and answering your questions. So thanks to everyone who did submit a project and submit a question. And let's go through some of those questions first before we announce the winners. So here we go. So thank you to Nathaniel for the first question of can you make a cricket game and time your shot? And this has been inspired by Nathaniel's submission as well. So here we go. So this is my demonstration for a cricket game. I've done baseball, but for a game where you can have a player that swings the bat, and then if you actually hit the ball. So here we go, let's go through some of the code. So on the player sprite, the baseball player that Scratch has preloaded, if you select from choose a sprite, has several costumes. And these costumes, one of the costumes, the bat is extended. Here we go. So in my code, you can see that when spacebar is pressed, I'm going to start on costume B. And then I'm going to wait until that I let go of the space bar, and then I'm going to run the animation, and that's all the code that's in here. And it's just repeat 3 times, switch to the next costume after waiting 0.1 seconds, and if the player is in touch with the baseball, then it just waits an extra 0.3 seconds. So all that happens here is when I press the space bar, the player is animated. On the baseball itself, and when I press the up arrow, the baseball starts. The baseball continues to travel until the ball reaches the traveller, which is Y position is greater than 82. And then if the ball touches the batter, then we run the hit code. And I've got the code defined in blocks down here. So when I press the up arrow, the ball is going to continue to fly across the screen and do nothing if the ball doesn't hit the player. But if the ball does hit the player, I've got to time this right myself. Here we go. So then it runs that code when the player's been hit. So I'll put the link in the description below for this project if you wanted to have a look at my code in a little bit more detail about creating this kind of baseball or cricket style game. But I'm also going to use this demonstration to answer everybody else's questions as well. So Pillar's question was, can blocks be called in other sprites? So if we take a look at this baseball, for example, I've gone on to my blocks and I've defined hit. So when I use this hit block, this code runs. I've defined travel. So when I use the travel block, this happens. And I've defined start. So when the start block runs, this code is going to run. And all I've done here is say when it's hit, switch to the explosion costume and play the sounds, and also glide off the screen in 0.1 seconds. So for travel, and this is going to run in this loop, so every frame, the Y position of the ball is going to increase, so that's going to move up the screen, and the size is going to decrease. But to answer the question, can you use these blocks in other sprites? So as you can see, I've got a copy of a baseball here, and the blocks are no longer available. And unfortunately, in Scratch, the answer is no. You can't use these blocks directly in another sprite. But one solution that you can do to achieve this is once you've defined your block, let's say hit here, you can drag over to this other sprite, this other baseball, for example, and that's going to duplicate that block. So now that block has been duplicated and I can start to use hit over here as well. But unfortunately, you're going to have to change both of these separately because they're now 2 different, distinct functions. So again, to answer your question, unfortunately, no. In Scratch, you can't use the same blocks in different sprites unless you copy and paste it or duplicate. Okay. The next question that I had was, how do you use broadcast? So let's go back to the baseball code. Let me recap on what this code is doing. So the ball is going to start, and that is going to start at the bottom of the screen. And until the Y position reaches the catcher, it's going to travel. But then this loop is going to stop when it does reach the catcher at the top. And after that, I've used this broadcast block. And all you do to get these, go to events and grab the broadcast block, and you can add a new message, and I've added caught. And what this is going to do is when the ball has reached the player, it's going to send a message to all the other sprites saying that the ball has been caught, and that means I can start more code once that message has been sent to all the other sprites. So if I go to my catcher sprite, all I've done is I've used green flag to start the costume. But then when the catcher sprite receives that message, caught, it's going to run this animation. So it's going to switch costumes to show that the ball has been caught, and then go back again. So let's just see that running. So if the ball reaches the top, it broadcasts the message caught, and then when I receive caught in the catcher sprite, I can run my code here. And the code that I've put down again is just to animate the catcher. So that is how broadcast works as well. So thank you for everyone for submitting your questions, and thank you again to Nathaniel for inspiring this demonstration with your baseball game. I'm going to also show you a few more submissions that I quite liked, so thanks to these people who have submitted. So this is Luca's maze, and this game, I'll quickly show you how it works. So thanks to Luca for submitting this maze game where you can collect coins and you can go to the new room and dodge the enemies as well. So thanks to Luca for submitting that game. Thanks to Dennis for submitting this catch game. I love the underwater theme, and I love the soundtrack that goes along with it as well. So thank you for submitting that project. And thank you to Luca for submitting this Pong game as well. I really like the space aesthetic, the style, and I think that's quite a catchy tune as well. I had real good fun playing this game. So thanks to Luca for submitting the Pong game. But let's move on to our two winners now. So the first winner is this game. Here we go. So this is Cameron's Space Duel game. So congratulations, Cameron, for this project. So what I really like about this game is it's quite similar to the Pong game that we had in the first video. But if you look closely, instead of a ball bouncing across the screen, the two players can actually fire bullets and lasers. So I thought that was a really fun game to play. So thank you again, Cameron, for your Space Duel. And that's the winner for the 9 and under category. And for the 10 and over category, this is Pillar's game. And this is Incredibles laser fight. So here we go. You can see that you can choose a character to start. I'm going to choose Jack Jack. And it says here, avoid the robot, use the arrows to move around, and M and N to shoot. So here we go. So Jack Jack's running around the screen. As we can see at the top, we've got some life. And if I get caught by the robot, the life goes down. But I can also use my lasers to defeat the enemies. So congratulations to Pillar for submitting this project. I really had good fun playing the Incredibles game. So thanks to everyone for the questions and submissions. I had really good fun playing everybody's games. And so well done to the two winners. To watch this video again or to see the baseball project, check the description for the code. Also check the description for last week's Pong code if you want to look back at that. And also check the description if you want to sign up to our newsletter and get more information about our events. Now, to those who are interested in learning about coding even further than these videos, our company blueshiftcoding.com, we run one-on-one private tuition sessions and 1 to 6 classrooms where you can learn about making games in not just Scratch but in many languages, and we have lots of options available there. So if you're interested in learning more about coding, feel free to check out our website, www.blueshiftcoding.com. So thanks again for joining us on this live session, and thanks for your submissions.